Welcome to part 2 and day 2 of our Fred Olsen Borealis mini cruise. In this video we have at least 2 breakfasts, we explore the rest of the ship, we spend some time in the thermal suite and drink a lot of martinis. Then we disembark the ship early next morning and take a coach ride back to Liverpool. We woke up early on the second day of our cruise and looked out of the window to see the beautiful pre-dawn morning. We'd ordered an early room service breakfast as we wanted to try a couple of breakfast options today. This arrived in good time and was just what we needed to get some energy for the day. A selection of warm pastries, juice and coffee. Once we'd polished off our first breakfast, we went out on prom deck to walk a lap, get some fresh air and blow away the cobwebs and the wine from the night before. The promenade deck on Borealis is a lovely full circuit of the ship. And offers some fantastic wake views. Although you don't get a view up at the bow, just this passage that passes from one side of the ship to the other. We both wanted more coffee, so we headed to deck 8 and the Lido buffet for another cup. Suze found some fruit and cheese whilst we were there. After this, we went outside for another look at the ocean on its beautiful morning at sea. We decided on a poolside cafe for our second breakfast, where we were served by Dennis, our waiter from the previous evening in colours and taste. I had a very nice eggs benedict, and Suze had poached eggs and avocado on rye. From there we went on a bit of a tour around the ship, checking out the top deck of the Neptune Theatre, the very grand and comfortable piano bar, the botanical room, and the onboard Lego station, before settling down in the Bookmark Cafe for a really nice cup of tea and coffee. Once we'd finished, we moved on, admiring some more of the ship's artwork, and out on deck to see the tip of Cornwall, which we were sailing past. While we were out here, we did spot a couple of dolphins, but not whilst filming, unfortunately. This little sea lion was a lot easier to photograph though, as we passed through the ship to have a look at the Scilly Isles on the other horizon. Lunchtime. We went to the Borealis main dining room, where we got a table with a beautiful view over the distant Scilly Isles. I started with the beetroot and goat's cheese. Suze had the vegetable broth. For mains, I had the gnocchi bolognese, and Suze had a Caesar salad with halloumi. We weren't going to have a dessert, but the Russian honey cake sounded just too good, so Suze joined me and ordered the brioche bread and butter pudding. Again, this was a lovely meal. We were still feeling slightly jaded, so we went back out on promenade to do another lap, hoping the fresh air and exercise would wake us both up. It was a beautiful day and didn't feel at all like early January. After our lap, we went back to our cabin to get changed for our afternoon booking at the onboard thermal suite. We had an hour booked here, during which time I believe it's exclusive access for one cabin. After collecting our robes and towels from the changing rooms, we both really enjoyed the steam rooms, the hot tub with a view, and relaxing on the hotbeds. This was a perfect way to recharge for what we hoped would be another fun night on board. This hour flew by, and on our way out we took a couple of photos of some of the spa treatment rooms and the dry sauna. Feeling extremely relaxed, we left the spa, and the first thing we both wanted was a long cold drink. We decided a pint of refreshing Heineken from the nearby Lido bar was the best bet. And we drank these as the evening drew in. We enjoyed them so much that we got a second round. And sat and slowly drank these in the relaxed atmosphere of the pool area. We were heading back to our cabin, stopped at the Ocean Bar on deck 5, as there was a really good pianist playing. We ordered a glass of wine and had a look at the cocktail menu. The list of martinis sounded interesting, so we decided to come back here later. After changing for dinner, we went through the stunning entrance to the Aurora restaurant, which is the upstairs half of the Olsen Borealis main dining room, where we were seated at a table for 6. We expected to have company on here, but I guess as the ship was by no means full, it was treated as just another table for 2. There was a good choice on the menu, and I decided to start with the potted shrimps, which I haven't had in ages. Sadly, they turned out to be potted small prawns, which just isn't the same and was slightly underwhelming. Suze had veal meatballs, which she really enjoyed. We both chose the consommé, which was really tasty. And to follow, we both decided to have the mixed grill, which again was very good. The atmospheric lighting in here impressed us as well, as it really does reflect the name of the restaurant. We had an espresso each, then I had the honey whiskey creme brulee, and Suze finished off with the strawberry shortcake sundae. These were a very nice finish to an overall very good meal. After leaving the restaurant, Suze couldn't resist taking a picture of the beautiful makeup area in the ladies' restroom. Then we headed back along deck 5 and got a chance to film some of the now empty lounges, the Oriental tea room and the botanical room. which are both beautifully furnished and decorated. We arrived at the Ocean Bar to start our cocktail evening and ordered ourselves some drinks. I had a Manhattan and Suze had a French martini. Suze followed that up with a porn-star martini while I was finishing my drink. We then decided to pop along to the Neptune Show Lounge and see tonight's show. We got a seat on the upper tier and waited for tonight's act, which was a singer who sang a selection of well-known classic songs in his own style. Following this, we returned to the Ocean Bar and ordered a couple of martinis. I had the dry vodka martini, however the dry vermouth really didn't suit me. Luckily, Suze was nice enough to switch and let me have a limoncello martini. We then ordered ourselves a mangotini and a lychee martini, which were both very tasty. And we finished our night with these. Fully martinied out, we went up to the buffet to check out the late night snacks. At least I got a bun with my hot dog tonight. Suze found some nibbles too. Then we swayed our way back to our cabin to get some sleep. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
The next morning we were woken about 5 o'clock by a constant, really loud noise in our cabin. We assumed this may have been the ship's thrusters as we were manoeuvring in Southampton at the time, but it eventually stopped as we docked. We got up and said goodbye to our cabin. 2 nights really was far too short a time on board this lovely ship. But it did give us a good taste for it, and we do hope to book a longer Fred Olsen cruise later this year. We went out on deck to watch the preparations for disembarkation and have a quick look at the morning. It seemed like it was going to be a beautiful day in Southampton. Disembarkation was quick and easy. We scanned off the ship, then walked down the gangway. And out through the cruise terminal. We got a last look at the terminal and the Borealis from the window of our coach. And roughly 5.5 hours later, we are back in Liverpool and waiting for our car to be returned. This took a little while, so we had a quick look at the cruise terminal while it was empty. This is the building where you check in and wait for boarding. This is where you check your baggage. And that's the entrance to the terminal. Once our car arrived, we drove back up to Scotland. And the further north we got, the more fog banks and frost we came across. But we made it home eventually without any problems, and started thinking about our next trip away. Thanks for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the video. If you'd give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to the channel, we'd be really grateful.